Hi everyone, it's Roger and APF from DisKingdom.com, and in this episode we're going to be discussing the Force Friday Star Wars merchandise that all come out a while ago. So it all came out on, I think it was September the 4th, loads and loads and loads of new merchandise. Everything under you had Funkos, Lego, Black Series figures, you had like I said, it was a busy day.
Yes, it was. It was a very forceful Friday. I forced my credit card online and bought as much as I could until it said decline. But other than that,
what did you pick up?
Well, I got this guy or girl. Actually, it's Ray and her new scooter bike. I also, unfortunately, was unable to get the first batch of the BB-8 Sphero. But I do have one coming from Amazon in a month or two because that's how backdoor they are. But yes, that was the hot ticket item for me. I wanted to get Funko, but I was not going to wait in line for hours or apparently get in fights because that's what happened in some Targets out here. So, no, Thank you. Yeah.
That Spyro, that remote control Spyro, really did seem to be the one. Yeah. Caught everyone's attention. I was mentioning it to my wife, going, Christmas presents. It's like,
It is very cool.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I'm going back to being a kid again. I want a remote control car for Christmas.
But this is not just a remote control car. It's science. It uses a gyroscope to keep the head positioned properly, like the real BB-8 that we saw at Star Wars Celebration. So it's science. It's not just. That was my spin. That was my spin. So I can get it. Yeah, that way I can get it here too.
But I mean, I think as well as it's quite it really did catch a lot of people's attention and kind of got. It's really, I think, like you said, it was the one item that really caught. I think, in all honesty, if it wasn't even connected to Star Wars and it was just some kind of toy without any branding, I still think it would have caught a lot of attention because it's just that cool on its own.
Well, here's the thing. Sphero's been out for a while, and they initially had the little remote control. It was just a little ball. You can still control it with your phone. It wasn't as popular. But when you have something as popular as Star Wars and you attach the name to it, and not to mention that, ironically, you have this brand new, you almost want to say mascot for Star Wars, and it's this cool little droid that is a ball. Like, oh my goodness, I already have the technology for it. I just add the gyroscope on it, and boom, it's been making tons and tons of money now. And so, yeah, I think Sphero lucked out with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, it's the stuff with like the Force Friday is there was tons and tons of merchandise. And you can really see like the main characters were being pushed, including Flynn and Rey and Kylo Ren and Captain Plasma and the First Order Stormtroopers. A little bit of Poe, not as much on him. There was not as much merchandise, but you could really see those are the characters that they are really pushing.
I was going to say Poe's X-Wing with Lego is probably the second popular. The first one was obviously the New Millennium Falcon, but yeah, no, Poe had a few things out there, but definitely Finn and Rey had the most out there. But BB-8 was, I think, by far, and Kylo Ren, by far the most popular. Not to mention the Stormtrooper, the First Order Stormtrooper. There were so many different variations and toys, but there was just so much going on. I mean, like even the little exclusives, new card games, Lego bricks. I mean, like all these things that are trying to reel people into their stores, but either way, we also forgot the Chewbacca Furby. I mean, like, there's so much stuff out there. So
I think it's the kind of thing of, because obviously with the movie coming out on December the 18th and December 17th over here, it's literally the week before Christmas, all right? So you've kind of like, in some ways, they want to get the Christmas market for all the toys, and it's like, well, if they only had that Christmas stuff out if they only had that stuff come out for that time, a lot of parents would already have got all the Christmas stuff, and they'd be like, no, you can't have it because I've already brought all your Christmas. Having it out months before, it means that parents will go, okay, by the time Christmas comes out, I know my kid's going to love this. And also, more importantly, it allows for us to become used to those characters. When this movie comes out, we are when Ray pops up on the screen, you're going to be like, I know these characters. I've seen the toys. I've seen the figure. Your familiarity of these characters is already higher, which makes you more inclined to buy stuff.
No, that's very, very true. Wait, one thing that you said that the movie comes out one day earlier out there with you guys?
Yes. Yeah.
How does that make any sense? You guys are already in the future. I mean, you guys are already a day ahead of us anyways, so what's the... no. But anyways, I'm just playing.
Yeah. Well, if I don't know, Disney are odd with their releases. One minute we get a movie a few days before, and the next movie we get months later. You know,
I think it has to do with Finn and most of the characters being Brits. So that's
and also it's
I'm just playing.
Bringing them all over for the different premieres and stuff. But yeah, no, it's like I said, it's
no. But what you're saying though is like it's definitely the need to getting those kids and everything to start enjoying and loving these characters, not knowing all about them yet, but just to say, hey, I'm playing with Ray Speeder, or I'm building Ray Speeder as far as Lego goes. Like it's cool. You get that attachment already. You have an idea what it looks like, what it's supposed to do. Or Kylo Ren, start building a following to this new Sith, this new dark side. It's cool. It's definitely great to actually start letting people know who these people are, who these new characters that you're going to love are going to be. So, yeah.
But also, definitely. It's like from the Star Wars fans' point of view. If you're into Star Wars, there are people queuing up, people buying stuff. And there's been this huge event of YouTube videos of unboxing things. Literally, they were following Friday across from Australia all the way across to Hawaii, of trying to get as much. Force Friday, I think, started on Wednesday. It was that there was that much information, but it's definitely, I think, interesting to see the amount of stuff that's coming, because I think this is like wave one. This is just like here's some stuff just to get you going.
What? It's just wave one?
Yes.
There's more?
Oh, I'm sure there's a hell of a lot more. This is literally just like, we need to get some stuff out for Christmas. We need to just kind of get people into it, because it must be. I mean, in some ways, it's a hard, because it's already connected to Star Wars. It's one thing, but to try and.
Sorry, you guys didn't see that, but my wallet just ran out the
door. Mine's empty. I've only got a receipt now. It just. I mean, there's going to be so much more. We've got all the Star Wars Battlefront stuff all coming through. We've got this Disney Infinity, and we've just gone. There's going to be so much stuff from the Force Awakens and stuff coming out.
And then there's Rogue One and Star Wars Episode 8 and 9 and the new Han Solo movie and the Boba Fett movie later on and more Rebels. Oh, it's never going to end.
Nope. That's good. I think as well, it's just, as like I said, is in some ways the amount of stuff that's going to be out there in stores. It makes sense now that, if they can make all these stuff like BB-8, if that droid is super popular and they run out of stock, it's going to be restocked before Christmas. So it's always hard to try and kind of, in some ways, we saw it recently with the Inside Out movie. They got all the toys out a month before the movie came out. So when you came out, the Disney fans were already aware of those characters. And I feel that kind of way with Force Awakens already. I've seen so many toys of these characters that you kind of, you don't know them, but you're familiar with them. You've got an idea already in your head of what these are. And I don't know necessarily if kids are already playing with these toys, because it might just be the Star Wars fans that have picked them up already and parents buying Christmas presents in advance. But, with things like Star Wars Rebels and stuff out there, kids are going to be more wanting to play with things they know than these characters. But then things like Kylo Ren just looks like a good bad guy just to play with straight away.
Yeah, I think especially for Star Wars fans, like, you got parents who are showing their kids the trailer and obviously these new characters. I'm sure they're already playing and building favorites. I'm sure once the story comes out, it's going to be more relevant. But for now,
yes.
We're home.
The thing is, it's quite interesting in some ways of thinking. We had our generation, which grew up with the classic trilogy, and then you had the next generation grew up with the Clone Wars. And then it kind of almost got like this mini generation in the last 2 years or so. You know, they've got the Rebels, and they've kind of had everything. And there's going to be a whole generation of people that are all used to the new Star Wars. You know, in a generation's time, you know, Chewbacca and Han Solo, they're always going to be, they're old. You know, they'll be looking at the old ones going, man, they're young there. You know, and it's interesting that they're bringing in new blood, bringing in new things. And it's great to see a franchise moving forward rather than just constantly relying on itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's going to be exciting. It's definitely amazing. And Force Friday, I mean, it's just one brand new day brought into the so many. I mean, we have May the 4th, the Revenge of the 5th, Force Friday. I mean, pretty soon there's going to be like a Star Wars day for every day of the week. So
yeah, Star Wars Sunday. There we go.
It'll be Sunday Wars.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like with the stuff with the Force Friday. I think in some ways, you know, they were holding back on a lot of the announcements of these toys, all the different events like San Diego Comic-Con and stuff. They just seemed to just
Toy Fair as well.
Yeah, Toy Fair, but they didn't really show too much because I think it was along the lines of they weren't ready to get these characters out. They did that full Force Friday. I think New York City Comic-Con, I think that's going to be very, very Star Wars heavy.
Yeah, I think so too. It's definitely going to be.
Because there's so many different things. You know, you've got these, like, I saw these new die-cast figures on Disney Store. They look rather cool. We got the Black Series. There's been a few sets that have come out showing some different characters that it's pretty hard to see, but I think in general, I think there's a lot more characters we don't yet know about with merchandise that we don't. I think they ain't gonna leave that one leaving along too long.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's definitely more to come. There's definitely, like you said, this is probably a wave one. So
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to see which one. Just looking at the amount of stuff in, you know, the Disney stores are all just filling out with all this merchandise and toys, and yeah, there's just so much. I'm just trying to see if I can find. There they are with the figures.
There's too much. There's too much.
There's. I mean, there's that thing. You ain't all having it all. That's the difference. There is just so many toys and bits and pieces coming out. Lego and all bits and pieces. And all these different Hasbro figures and things. It just looks so cool over there. And like I said, just quite overwhelming how much stuff there is. But like I said, you've only got so much cash in your wallet, so you're gonna pick what you want.
Cash and then space. Jeez, there's no space anywhere.
I mean,
I was gonna say you either have to choose to have kids or use those spare rooms for your toys.
As well. I mean, it's all those new Funko Pops and all those. I mean, there must have been, with all the retailer exclusives, there must have been like 25 different Funko Pops.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, just so many of them. I mean, this is, you know, we had the Wacky Wobblers, and then you've got all these different ones here, these different Funkos. So much, which is not a bad thing. I mean, it's just the fact that nowadays, I think when there's no movie out, it just feels like, you know, months away, because we're still 3 months from the movie coming out.
Yeah, I think what it does is it definitely builds a lot of hype. So well, let's hope, you know, crossing our fingers that's not a flop. But other than that, all these toys for what? I know it's not gonna be bad. It's
gonna be like, I remember being at like a market or something, and I brought like an entire set of like Super Mario movie action figures when they came out. I was like, as a kid going, look at all those action figures, they're only like £1 each. It's like, and then I saw the movie, it's like, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, do I still have my receipt?
I think with Force Awakens, I think it has to be good. I don't think there's so much.
I agree. It's been a movie that obviously they've been taking a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of story development, a lot of just basically time in general put into this thing just to make sure it's great. And I think JJ and what he's been doing, using like traditional filming effects and you know, not using all CG, I think it's Yeah, it's if it's not good, then I don't know what they're doing. But I'm sure the first one has to be good, especially it's going to be a kickoff of a new trilogy, so it needs to be.
But
good.
also, like you say, with them doing like the live sets, if they're making 5, 6, 7 movies, they're going to really get their use out of it. But it's also, I was saying this to my dad the other day. It's like, this is the sequel to Return of the Jedi. From 30 odd years ago, because as though we had the Clone Wars and the Rebels and the prequels and stuff, they were all set before it. We've not had any movies, or I know there's been comics and video games and stuff, but everything that we've seen in like canon has all been pre New Hope. There was nothing after, which is kind of quite interesting. Sort of, I think that's where it's interesting for me that we're going off in a new story. We don't know what's coming on.
Well, I kind of see why though, because it's just when you have such an amazing villain like Darth Vader, it's like you're kind of scared to see to be the one in charge to create the new one that's supposed to basically outshine him, like to be kind of like I guess the best example I can take is like when Jack Nicholson was seen to be like one of the best Jokers, and the consensus, and everybody was afraid that Heath Ledger was going to be good, and he took that role and did an amazing job. Well, I feel like like Kylo Ren right here. I think so far what we've seen, I think he looks great. He's definitely going to be up there in my opinion. He's going to be really, really good.
I mean, he's got that look. He's got the look that kind of instantly just pulls you in. It's that black and red, and I think as well as like generations of Darth Vader with the red and Darth Maul. It's like almost like a primeval kind of thing for us, where we see that as evil, black and red.
Yeah, and that mask looks very unique too. It almost like catches you, like that silver lining, and it's like 3 or 4 of them. It's crazy. I don't know. It looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. Right, so I think that's pretty much going to wrap up our sort of initial like Force Friday and just a little bit of Star Wars discussion. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check us out at patreon.com/DisKingdom. So big thank you to sortedapps.com and Magic Band Collectors, and also a shout out to other patrons like Infinity James. And yeah, just a big thank you to everyone for watching. Be sure to let us know, what did you guys pick up from Force Friday? What were the things that caught your attention? Would love to know. And remember, if you've got any sort of suggestions for things you want us to talk about, you can always get in touch with us as well, and we'll try our best to do bits and pieces. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Laters.
Bye. I love Daisy Ridley. Yay.